now that you gain some insights in how to design your strategic digital marketing plan, we can start looking at how to communicate with stakeholders to get the most out of your relationships, in particular a mentor or a small business owner, which is what you're tasked to do in assignment 1 and 2. So I'm using this resource as an article in Harvard Business Magazine about how to build a great relationship with a mentor. So definitely read that paper. It's a great resource. So we're looking at this in 8 sort of simple steps. And the first step is to define your goals and your specific need from that mentor. And again, as I talked about in the other video, you start with your goals and they have to be SMART. So goals must be SMART. So use the SMART framework when you design your goals. And once you then have those goals, it is much easier for you to then figure out what are the biggest obstacles for you to achieve those goals. And that in turn will help you to decide what type of mentor you should be looking for. So it helps sort of narrow down the field. So what are some of the things for you that you don't know about, where you're actually lacking skills, and then look for a mentor that can help you to achieve those goals more directly. So this of course has to do with understanding where you want to be, as well as what some of the biggest opportunities are for you to get there, and that again will determine how you identify a mentor that will truly be helpful for you to reach those goals. Another advice there is to write a job description for your ideal mentor. So this has to do with sort of visualizing and writing out exactly what type of mentor you're looking for that can help you to seize the biggest opportunities and or navigate your biggest challenges in reaching those opportunities. So this has to do with asking those why questions, because that will be super important for the mentor when they respond to you. Why would I want to do this? What is in it for me? Can I actually help that person, which is you? And if they feel that they can, they're much more likely to then jump on and become your mentor. So include that job description when you reach out to your potential mentor and ask them for if they will be willing to mentor you, so that you clearly articulate why you need their help. Remember, people are vain, and so when you're saying and clearly articulating why you need their help and they can see that they can help you, then they're much more likely to do that, because it makes them feel good to be able to help someone else. So you search for mentors. It's where do you find a mentor? You search through your second degree networks is what this article and what I will extend the recommendation to. So don't choose someone too close to you if you can avoid it, because then the mentorship for this assignment and over you in general becomes more of a sort of box ticking exercise. Yeah, I did it. I did what I was told, and that was fine. So go through your second degree networks. So that could be LinkedIn, professional networks, or people you've met at conferences or also elsewhere in life. And remember, people are busy, but being asked to be someone's mentor is a massive compliment. It is always a massive compliment. And yeah, people may say no, but that is pretty much the worst thing that can happen as well. And you can still get a positive exchange out of it. So don't be shy about asking someone, because it is to be asked is a compliment, and the worst that can happen is that you get a no. So asking for someone to mentor you is going to be a humbling experience in most cases. So it can be uncomfortable, an uncomfortable feeling, and so be vulnerable about it. And it's awkward to ask someone first, second, or maybe even third time to if they want to help you. But don't make too much out of that first conversation. And the worst thing you can do is to write up a really long email where you outline all your points and thoughts, because it's too much and they're just going to delete it. They're not going to engage with it. So what you want is to set up a first conversation and make that as easy and approachable as possible. So keep it simple. What you want to suggest in your first conversation is to just, I'm interested in your work. I like your work. I want to know you better. I feel that it aligns with my work. Are you willing to sit down and have a chat, have a coffee? Much better approach than to dump info in a long email. So in your first meeting, you basically have two goals: to find out if that person is the right type of mentor for you, and secondly, find out whether they are actually interested in mentoring you. So you got to make it easy for that person. So go to a location that's convenient for them. Make an effort. Be willing to go a little bit out of your way, and perhaps even ask them, where is a good place for us to meet? What would you suggest that's convenient for you to have a coffee or a tea? And don't be late. That's the worst thing you can be. Be early. So come loads early, and already be sitting there with halfway through your coffee, because that makes them feel comfortable. It takes the pressure off. And spend time getting to know the person. You probably want to talk less than 30% of the time is the advice here. So it's not about you talking a lot. It's about you getting to know this person and asking them a lot of questions and get them to talk about themselves, because that's what this is all about. And then make a clear ask, and say that you really enjoy the conversation. And then ask if we can follow up again and have another conversation. And then always say thank you. Say thank you many times as you can, and then follow up again with a thank you email in writing after the meeting. It's really good advice to start simple. I know that you may feel pressured from the short time in the semester and so forth, but don't let your stress pile up onto your potential mentor. So once the person agrees to meet you again, then you send a follow-up email and propose an agenda, and hinting towards perhaps we can keep this going for a long-term relationship, even beyond and above and beyond the arbitrary length of a semester. So in the article is even suggested some phrases that you can use, such as, in our next chat, I hope we can stop and or catch up and have a quick chat, and further expand on our conversations. So again, and then that's when you come with your specific questions, but always make it about them and how they can help you. So once you have overcome that first or those first two perhaps meetings, that's when it's appropriate to make a formal ask and ask if that person wants to sit down with you on a regular basis over the next 6 months or so to solve your problem, which is what you would want to achieve in your assignment. And then start formalizing things and create a document and set agendas for what you want to achieve together, and start making things into a more formalized plan, because that's how you get the most out of your mentorship and can learn the most from your mentor. And finally, continue to follow up and always say thank you. So you send a thank you email after every meeting, and perhaps also continue to say thank you a long time after that. So there's nothing stopping you. If there's something that comes up later in your life that you felt that was a result of the mentorship, then you would again send a thank you note for the mentor. It's something that I will always appreciate. So showing that appreciation is super important. So it's always, it's okay to ask someone for a favor. There's no shame in that, but you always make sure that you show appreciation. So where you as a mentee can fail in this process if you don't show the appreciation and the value that the mentor gives you. So that's some advice for how to find and maintain a mentor. So let's look at some of the key ways that you can advise small businesses on their digital marketing strategy. It's not as hard as it seems because you are a soon-to-be marketing graduate, and in most cases you will know more about digital marketing than a small business would. And moreover, they are busy with running the business, so they don't always have time to implement the digital marketing strategies that they have thought of. You have that time, and that's where this can be a very beneficial thing for you to engage with. So I'm using two sources for this for these slides. One is the Business Victoria's online resources for digital technology, and then I'm also drawing a bit from the one from Western Australia because it's really sort of simple the way that it's written and easy to grasp and understand. So the first step is quite often to just set up an online presence, and you'll be surprised to see that many small businesses, they haven't even done that, or if they do have an online presence, then it's not strategic. It's sort of like, oh my God, we got to be on the internet, and so let's make a Facebook page. So the opportunities for you to create something that is meaningful and strategic is the opportunity is great. So click on the link on the page there directly as well. That will give you more advice and examples. So developing the strategy, of course, it's the first step to stay competitive online, and again make sure that your online goals are SMART goals. So going back to the SMART framework again here as well. So some of the activities that you may be involved with would include building a website or extending an existing one. But also if you choose to use or to work for yourself as a business, you may want to build a website. So do you have any budget for this? Is sort of a key first question. Do you have money to spend? So are you going to use a hosted platform such as Wix or WordPress for that matter, or do it yourself? So those are the two basic options that you have there. So there's some links on the site here as well of some of the some popular website platforms, and also some popular shopping cart platforms. So for those of you that are working for a small business that wants to sell products online, using one of these e-commerce websites may be a good idea. So you also need to map the content on your website and optimize that content. So the week 5 videos are going to talk much more about how to do that, but it's not sort of random how you place information on a website. And you can diagnose those things for a small business before you approach them and say, look, perhaps we should try something like this or that. And that also includes the content plan. You have to have a plan for what content you are creating, how often you're creating it, and why you're creating that content. So what is the purpose of creating that content? So using social media for business is a fascinating area, and the key thing here, I think, is both for the business and also for you as a young person. I may assume that you are a frequent user of social media. Don't get too hung up on the tools and on the technology. That's one of the biggest mistakes that you can make. You got to focus on how you can use them more effectively. and how you can use them to reach your business goals that you defined previously. So basically, we're talking about participating in social media or creating and distributing original content. So participation includes engagement, listening, and also, very importantly, responding to criticism. Businesses are always criticized online, and spoiler alert, the majority of comments made and feedback and ratings are negative. So being able to respond to that and knowing how to respond to it is super important. So there's some further information on that on the clickable links on this page here as well. And when you create content, if you're creating original content, always have the customer in mind. Do they really want another reminder of your specials and your discounts this week, or is it something else content-wise that they want, something that you can help them with? Be consistent regardless of what platform you're on. Don't just go on a tangent one day because you got a bit drunk on a Friday night. Be consistent in the content you produce, and always measure the success. And you can click on that link and it will give you an idea of some of the measures that you can use. Now, email marketing is not something we specifically cover in this course, but is still something that you may want to do as an implementation strategy, because it's close enough and we cover it sort of indirectly through content creation and so forth. So to do that, you would normally need a database of clients' email addresses, and make sure that you look through the resources on the Business Victoria website there, and make sure that you are aware of the 2003 Spam Act. So you must have explicit consent from customers before you contact them, especially if you work for a small business. You got to make sure that you have that consent, because if you start spamming their customers, then that could lead to very nasty outcomes. So make sure that you know what you're doing in terms of customers giving explicit consent to be contacted. So most email marketing comes in form of creating newsletters, and they could of course include messages of promotions to further engage customers and so forth. And finally, search engine optimization, which is week 5, we'll talk about that, is something that you may engage with. So also known as being on the first page of Google. If you're not on the first page of Google, you pretty much don't exist on the internet, because no one goes to the second page. So there's 3 sort of core components on that. There's the on-page optimization, which has to do with how you design, structure your content on the page. Week 5 talks about that, and also off-page and keywords. So off-page has to do with quality inbound and outbound links. Having those makes your content more palatable, and also how you plan keywords on your page so that it's more easily found on Google. Again, all that on week 5. But these are things that are not difficult, and we'll give you in week 5 some diagnostic tools that you can use, and that you can then approach businesses with and saying, look, if we do the XYZ, we can actually improve or optimize your search engine results further, and I know how to do this. So stay tuned and good luck with your assignments.